Welcome back to the Lucia Show, the one talk show you got to tune into every day because it's the only one that brings you Steve Aledort, our lone financial planner. Steve, I hope you had an opportunity to hear my little diatribe on interest rates in the stock market a few minutes ago. Did you, by chance?
Yes, I did.
From the green room?
Yes, I was actually able to listen to everything. And
good.
Here's what's really interesting. I've been doing this a long time. And there are services in my business that say, okay, subscribe to us. We're accumulating all of this information so you can see what's happened in the past, what's happening right now, what our predictions will be. And these are things that you can communicate with your client. Do you lock in the loan? Do you hold on not locking in the loan and let the loan float? For me, the bottom line is that when you start taking all of that information in and attempting to make sense of it, it's like thinking that you can go into the stock market and always buy high and always sell low. Bottom line is, we can have all the information at our fingertips, but we don't know where interest rates are going on a daily basis. Bottom line is that when I take a loan in, I look at it with my borrowers, and if the rate makes sense, we're saving money, it allows them to qualify for a loan. I don't play the float game. We lock the loan in. You know, I could go over and say, well, here's what could happen with this report and this report in the next week, and let's roll the dice and gamble. But the bottom line is, when mortgage rates move, they move up a heck of a lot faster than they move down.
Yeah, why is that, by the way? Because I've noticed that over the last 20, 30 years, that the banks are very, very quick to move rates up and really, really slow to move them down. Would there be a profit motive in that?
I would say that would probably be the most important one. And the other interesting thing is that, and again, I don't spend a whole lot of time going, well, this happened here and this happened there and this is why it should happen. But the bottom line is that the long-term mortgage rates move on a daily basis based on the buying and the selling on a daily basis of the 10-year note. A month and a half, 2 months ago, the 10-year note was at between 2.3 and 2.4. It actually last week jumped up, and I think even maybe this week.
Almost 2.9, huh?
Correct. Mid 2.8s, almost 2.9. Now, we had a nice correction yesterday because people moved their money from the stock market to the bond market. The yield today is about 2.74. The reason I'm getting to this, based on your prologue at the beginning, is that when interest rates go up, investors are taking money out of the 10-year note and they're putting them somewhere. And in most cases, it's going to be the stock market or commodities, but being moved out of the bond market, interest rates go up, there's a pretty darn good chance a large portion of that money is going into the stock market, where we'll see stock prices tend to rise while interest rates are rising because people are taking money out of that 10-year note and investing it somewhere else. And then when we have a crash, not really a crash, but a correction, then that money is moved out of the stock market, the equity markets, and moved into the 10-year note. And at least as of yesterday, we had a little bit of a decrease.
So you told me just before we went on the air that my son Dominic needs to call you.
Yeah. Because,
why?
Well, his specific loan, because I have that loan as well, is now starting to move up. Now, with adjustable rate loans, those of us that have had adjustable rates for the last 10 or 12 years has been a windfall for all of us, because adjustable rates for a long period of time, if you had a good program, meaning a low margin, we had rates below 3%. And then for a long period of time, we were paying in the 3% range. But based on the indices that are being used for adjustable loans, for instance, the one-year LIBOR. The one-year LIBOR is the index that's most used for adjustable rate mortgages. That's what moves up and down, usually on a weekly basis. Then you have a margin that's added to that index. That margin is fixed, but that margin added to the index, when it's time for your adjustment, you add those together, and that is what's called the fully indexed rate, and that's potentially where your mortgage will go, or close to going, on the next interest rate adjustment that you have, whether it be 6 months or a year. So the one-year LIBOR a year ago was about 1.75. Today, this morning when I looked up, it's almost at 2.3. So if you have a margin of 2.25, which is the lower of the margins, you add those two together, rounded up to the nearest
almost
eighth,
5%.
or 4.625.
Yeah.
So that's based on where it's at today. And when the Feds continue to move up short-term rates, that's, although it's not a dollar for dollar amount as far as a percent amount, when the Feds move up short-term rates, we're going to see the short-term indices that move adjustables move up as well. So you may see that your adjustable mortgage moving up to maybe 4.6% on the next change. And then if the Feds make a couple more moves by the end of the year, your interest rate on the following change in 2019 may be above 5%. So if you've got an adjustable rate mortgage, now is the time to really look at seeing what you can do in order to fix that rate in for a longer period of time. If you have an equity line as well, prime right now is at 4.5%. Prime is going to move up at the same increments that the Feds increase short-term rates. So if the Feds do 2 more moves, they're predicting 3, but let's say they do 2, by the end of the year, prime is going to be at 5%.
Wow.
So if you have a margin of a half above prime, you're 5.5. If you have a margin 1 above prime, you're at 6%. So sitting on the mortgages right now because you haven't felt the effect of what's going to happen is the wrong thing to do. So many people take a mortgage, it's their biggest debt, in a sense their biggest investment, and they don't focus or think about it as much as the $30,000 or $100,000 they may have invested in the stock market, concerned about what's going on a daily basis. You really need, if you've got an adjustable, a line of credit, or you've got credit debt, and you potentially have equity in your home, it's a perfect time to do what I call a loan checkup, which is providing me information on the mortgage, on the line of credit, on your credit debt, and see if we can come up with a program that makes a big difference. And at the top of the next hour, I'll go over a setup I'm doing for a client right now where I'm saving them $2,500 a month.
$2,500 a month, wow. Loanfinancialplanner.com, Steve Aledort. So since I am my son's favorite financial guru, I guess you and I need to talk, because he's a nerd. He's a computer nerd. What does he know about this
the other
stuff?
thing on his loan, because it was a great loan, interest only. It was it was called the green loan years ago, transactional mortgage. The only negative on that loan is it's a 15-year loan. 15 years, boom, it's done. You have to refinance. I don't remember when we did his loan. It may have been a couple of years after we did mine, but I know my loan is due in 2021. So I've got 3 years on mine before I have to do something. He may be about 4 or 5.
Yeah, but the interest rate's going to be so high potentially by then that it's time for him to get jiggy with it.
We'll do it right now. That way we can secure long term, probably close to the same rate he's got right now.
See, my question to all you folks out there is, do you have somebody like Steve in your hip pocket like I do to help take care of you and your family members? We'll have to have a little lunch. You buying or me?
I'll buy.
See that? See how I get a free lunch out of this gig?
Why am I getting my arm twisted on the air? What was I going to say to that?
I've got it recorded.
That's right.
All right, we'll come back. Steve's got $2,500 a month that he's going to probably save you, or at least somebody. So stick around. 844-RAY-SHOW if you want to chat with Steve. Emails raylucia.com, RAYLUCIA.com. Back right after these messages.